Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter and this is James.
Hi.
And today we're talking about volume 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Something I'm really liking with this manga so far, I mean we're only 2 volumes in, although I'm feeling like this is going to be probably something that's going to continue as like a theme of sorts, I guess,
Mm.
is this manga's way of promoting positivity. Basically, it's
Mm.
something that I think I felt a little bit from the first volume, but I felt it even more from this one. And I mean, really, the curses, or at least the way I'm like kind of choosing to interpret it a little bit, is that the curses are just kind of a representation of all the bad things that come from negativity in the world,
Mm.
kind of. And obviously, it's a supernatural thing here, but it is. I think there are connections I think that can be drawn, and I think Yuji is a great protagonist with all that in mind. In a story that wants to promote positivity, I think Yuji is a great protagonist for that. But I think other characters like Gojo, for example, is also doing a really great job at portraying those
Yeah.
messages, like about the importance of positivity.
That's a great point you make, especially with the comparison between negativity and positivity.
Mm,
And as we see some of the characters in here kind of mention, is that they feel, or the curses feel as though, they are the true humans in a way.
right.
And so you have the difference of humanity, which is striving for more positivity and kind of shuns the negativity in a way, than the curses that are just feed on and are born from the negativity. I assume.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how it works,
Uh-huh.
but it does seem to be at least implied by a certain character that that's kind of what's going on in a way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it's interesting that you would bring that up.
Mm-mm. If there isn't anything else, we can move on to the character discussions.
Let's do it. I feel like there's a fair amount of characters to go through.
There are definitely. So starting with Yuji Itadori, though, he struggled taking control back from Sukuna after he gave him control at the start of this volume.
Hmm.
So that was kind of like suddenly everything that had been, I guess, quote unquote, established in the first volume, with him being seemingly, on top of that. Suddenly, that wasn't the case at all anymore.
I guess it was too long that he let Sukuna have control. I
Right?
don't know.
Maybe.
Doesn't really explain why he wasn't able to
Mm.
take control again. At least unless I missed it.
I mean, Sukuna did eat one finger while he was in control, so I don't know if that could be part of it.
Oh, good point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So now 3 fingers have been eaten. My suspicion about Sukuna being able to regenerate Yuji's body turned out to be correct. Even though,
Yeah.
even though, as I think I pointed out last time, I didn't necessarily have a reason to suspect that, other than obviously a limb was lost, or if the hand was lost. I guess how else would one regain a
Yeah.
hand?
Exactly.
um. So
I
anyway,
mean, hey,
yeah,
I'd be fine with a character not having a hand or some fingers and just going about the story, but
yeah.
there was no way that they were gonna not bring back some limbs at some point somehow.
Right, right. But yeah, Yuji died.
Yeah,
Um,
he died.
he was the one who died, or well, he didn't technically die. I think, like because of him having Sukuna within him, I don't think he was technically ever completely dead. Although he definitely appeared to be dead, but like I think he still lived in his heart or something like that. If that's how it was supposed to be understood.
I mean, if we go about the scientific term of death, he was dead. But in terms of like his spirit still being around, I think yeah,
Yeah.
like he was still in Sukuna's domain, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Like, did I understand it right in that it's like his heart was still intact, like Yuji's heart, and that was why they weren't completely dead. That's how I read it anyway.
Oh,
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know.
well, maybe I'm wrong about it.
I don't. I mean, I don't know.
I'll double check real quick and see. But
Mm,
he says that they're in his innate domain, whatever that's supposed to mean. I guess is similar to the domain that we see throughout the story.
yeah.
Yes, he says think of it as being inside the heart, but
Oh yeah. That's what I. Yeah. Maybe that's not literally it. Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, I don't think literally. But
True.
I mean, that could be it. I just assumed it was more of kind of the spirit, his essence is still there. It's just could be fading away in a sense.
Right.
Uh,
Maybe.
but anyway, besides either way, he comes back to full life.
He does. He does.
Eventually.
Hmm.
But it's still pretty gutsy. I mean, this isn't the only manga we've read where the main character dies.
Yeah.
But I will say that in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's actually quite quick, like the turnaround, comparatively speaking.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was only like 2 chapters, I think, when you're supposed to believe that
right.
he has, well, that he is dead, I think.
Hmm.
Or if even that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it wasn't that long.
But I like the execution of it. It was, in a way, Yuji was sacrificing himself to save his friends, and then
Yeah.
he let himself die, and he was totally okay with, as long as his friends would live a long life, he was
Hmm.
fine with it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because in the first volume, something that was motivating Yuji to go forward was finding a good time to die. A place where he can die with friends around him.
Mm.
Now, unfortunately, he doesn't really get that in this case, but I think he was able to find some sort of fulfillment in the fact that he was dying to save a friend in a way.
Right. Yeah. Like, he neither got to have a bunch of loved ones around him, nor did he get a natural death. Both of which were kind of established as the ways that he wanted to go out eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
So that is kind of sad, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it wasn't his final death or whatever. But yeah, when he came back with conditions that he and Sukuna had, quote unquote, agreed upon. So Sukuna will be able to take control for a minute every day now. We haven't gotten to see it yet, but yeah, I guess it can happen at any moment, kind of. But Yuji doesn't remember these terms.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was also part of the agreement. So, but yeah, it is a big thing.
So, as far as I understand, isn't it he'll take over the body for 1 full minute when he chants in chain?
Yeah.
So that's not every day.
Right. No, but I think he has the ability to do it once a day. I think.
Oh, really?
I think that that was what he said. Though maybe we should double check that as well.
Says I have 2 conditions. You agree to let me take over your body for 1 full minute when I enchant in chain,
Oh.
and 2, you will forget about this agreement.
Wow. Why did I make up once a day? So I guess it can happen at any type of intervals. I mean, if that's the case, it can happen like several times a day or like whenever, kind of.
I guess so.
However, if he is upholding the added condition about him not being allowed to kill or harm others, then that's something, at least that's kind of good.
Yeah, yeah. It makes you wonder why exactly does he want this condition, especially for 1 minute?
Yeah.
What is he after?
Exactly. How much can one achieve? I mean, giving out information to, maybe he has followers, like giving them information if he ever gets the chance to, stuff like that, maybe.
I kind of wonder if it has anything to do with Fushiguro and Megumi. Like,
Oh,
he seems kind of interested in him.
I guess so. At the very least, he seems to see potential in him, or like he
Yeah.
yeah. That's true. Interesting.
Maybe it's not anything to do with the person per se, but that was kind of the vibe I got because he mentions that things are about to get interesting, and he has, the panel of Megumi shows up. So I just thought maybe that could be the reason.
Right.
But there could be more.
Maybe, yeah, right. But no, I like that. I like that theory though, or that idea. Something I thought was great was Sukuna's face expression when he realized that Yuji couldn't take control back of the body. Like that smile.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh man.
Such a good expression. One of the best I've seen, honestly, ever. Like, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, agreed.
Anything else on Yuji or Sukuna? I don't have anything on more on them.
It's confirmed that he cannot use curse techniques, but it seems as though Gojo wants to work him up to eventually using Sukuna's curse energy.
Yeah, yeah. Which I sort of was. I think I was sort of thinking in those along those lines last time, but I couldn't know for sure. But it's good to have that confirmed. That's something that Yuji should be able to work himself up to.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see where his power level goes from there, especially when you compare it to, say, Gojo's power levels. But
Exactly. Yeah.
and last thing I have is just to know about him training, watching movies. I thought,
Yes. Oh,
I was
that
like,
was
oh
great.
wow,
What a way to
educate
train.
yourself.
I wish I could train that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one of the movies that Gojo brought up is one of my favorite movies of all time because I saw the cover. I mean, you can see the covers of several of them, but there was one movie called Leon. I think maybe the English title because I think it's like a French American production, and I think or maybe it's just a French production, but it's like an English the language of the movie is English, uh, and it uses actors who speak English. But anyway, I think the original title is just Leon, but in America, I think it's called like Leon the Professional or something like that. If that's more familiar to you or anyone listening, that's like one of my all-time favorite movies. It's from like 1994, I want to say. It's with Natalie Portman when she was like 12 or something.
Wow.
She's amazing in that. But anyway, I think there was also Lord of the Rings, or Yuji was watching Lord of the Rings when Gojo came to fetch him.
Yeah, I did see Sam there. I was like, is that a Lord of the Rings
I
reference?
think so. I could be wrong, but I think that was Lord of the Rings. Anyway, and there was something else that I didn't know, but yeah, it was nice little Easter eggs or references. But I guess next we move on to Satoru Gojo. I love getting to see him in more action this volume, or to actually do some serious combat kind of. Even though it was easy for him, it was still a blast. I thought to witness that.
The power level is, or the ceiling for how strong Gojo is incredibly high. Like,
Yeah,
it was established how strong the volcano monster, will mention him more later,
yeah,
how powerful he was, and even Yuji made the mention like this guy is not even the same league as the people or the curses we fought before, and yet Gojo is just astronomically stronger than he is. It's just
yep.
it's insane how overpowered Gojo is.
It is, yeah. But that's why I'm also in like I think he's well written. Like he isn't like a kind of Mary Sue, Gary Stu type character that just does everything for everyone else. Obviously, since we talked about this last time, there was this in the previous volume there was a very brief little character bio that was actually like kind of the information of that was more kind of brought into the actual contents of this volume when Gojo was talking about his dream about changing the Jujutsu world into a better one where the higher ups aren't so cowardly and so stupid, kind of the way he puts it, sort of. And that he is going to achieve this by training the next generations. And yeah, that's more or less what the bio said in the previous book, but now we get to see it, I guess, more with a little more details and more context to it. But that was great. And how while he has a distaste for the higher ups. And like that became very clear when he said like he might just kill them. I think he was joking when he said that, or not joking, but he wouldn't actually do it. But he really doesn't like those guys.
Yeah, it gets too complicated if he if he killed it, and it probably wouldn't change anything.
Right, exactly as he says. Yeah.
But I love how livid he gets about Itadori dying and everything. He's understands that there's corruption and people doing things behind his back and whatnot. So I just like seeing how much he cares about his students and whatnot. And obviously he's putting all his dreams into them, as you mentioned, training them to be just as good as he is, taking over from the old windbags, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
So now I understand better why he's teaching at the school.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It does make a lot more sense
Or,
now.
I mean, I guess technically I already knew, but
Well, yeah.
anyway.
Well, yeah. um, but in this volume, we also learn from Gojo about cursed energy and cursed technique. I liked how that was kind of explained, because I was at first I was like cursed energy, cursed technique. How am I gonna learn which is which and kind of what they are? But I thought the explanation made sense. It was a good explanation.
Yeah, with electricity and the products that use electricity. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
hmm Then there was this infinity of space that
Yeah.
Gojo seems to have just around his body,
Uh,
supposedly like all over around his body. It's such a cool concept, I think. First of all, and it does also contribute to making him very OP.
I mean, he's like remains untouched.
Yeah,
If he only touches him if he wants you to, kind of a thing.
right. It was so funny when he demonstrated that to Jogo, I think is the name of that volcano monster.
Yeah,
It's also like Gojo and Jogo. Like, why do they
I
have to be
know.
so similar? And
Is
anyway,
it?
but like what he when he like they were holding hands and like that was so funny. um, but on top of that, he can also, well, he seems to be able to teleport too, to some extent at least. He
Hmm.
said he jumped, but that seemed like a lie. I don't know. He's powerful.
Yeah, didn't really give much of explanation.
Right.
He also explains the domain expansion
Hmm.
and how well we get a kind of a glimpse of a few domain expansions. I mean, we have, or at least domains. We have
Yeah.
Sukuna's domain, and then we have Jogo's domain, and how he actually did the expansion, and we saw his powers were heightened, and he got
Hmm.
a stat boost, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that explanation too. Gojo is a great teacher. Honestly,
Oh
he has
yeah,
these ways to describe things that make them easy to understand.
and then we saw Gojo's domain as well, and how
Yeah.
a domain, the way to beat someone else's domain expansion is to, well, expand your own domain and beat it.
hmm
So that's exactly what Gojo did, and I don't know, man. He just blew Jogo's mind,
Yeah.
with
Absolutely.
knowledge and making him immobilized and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. I assume Yuji was also immobilized at the time,
I have no idea.
but he was just taken care of. But I guess there was also, although we didn't get to see that domain, but I think Geto mentioned this like prison domain or whatever. I can't remember exactly how he referred to it, but it was something that he said that they would use to trap Gojo.
Yeah,
Or at least the way I understood it is that that was also some sort of a domain. But yeah, when Gojo did use the powers to bring them into his domain, he did reveal both of his eyes. And for now, I'm probably still gonna assume that, I guess, he keeps the blindfold on to limit his powers for whatever reason, and that whenever he uses these powers that require a lot of cursed energy, I guess, then he needs to remove them. Like then he needs to be able to see or something like that. Um,
maybe.
that's the best explanation that I can come up with for that. But I don't know.
It could be that. So I guess something similar to what you're saying is that when he removes the blindfold, that's when his domain expands, or
Hmm.
it kind of overtakes the area, and so in order to keep it in check, he puts on the blindfold. I guess maybe.
That's an interesting thought, actually, because he did put it back on right when they got back out. However, I actually went back to Jujutsu Kaisen Zero to double check, because I
Ah.
thought that he revealed at least one eye in that. I think I mentioned that last time. Turns
Mm-hmm.
out he actually revealed both eyes in Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. At least in the manga. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but at least in the
I
manga,
think he did.
right. So, and I there wasn't any domain expansions in Zero. At least it wasn't right there when he revealed both of his eyes. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So I have no idea. Basically,
Yeah, yeah. Anything else on Gojo?
just the line where he says, since you're so weak, like just so humiliating and
Very, very cocky.
yeah.
I like it.
It's even better in the anime. Just
Ah,
the voice actor just milks it so much.
oof. I really want to see it now. I really want to see it. I'm probably gonna binge the anime once we reach to whatever that is in the story for the manga.
I do highly recommend it. The animation is just incredible.
So I've heard. Ah, but in the meantime, I will be enjoying the manga, which I really am
Okay,
enjoying.
fine. Yes.
But next character, let's talk about Suguru Geto next. This guy was in Jujutsu Kaisen 0, but he was supposedly killed by Gojo at the end of it. At least that seemed to be the implication at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Psych.
Yeah, definitely. And he used to attend Jujutsu High, is something that I think we learned in 0. So, like, I don't know if he was a classmate of Gojo's or something like that, perhaps, in his past, but now he's here. And he's got stitches going across his forehead now, which he didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. He didn't have those in 0.
No. So that's something that's happened since then. I don't know if that he got, like, since he presumably died at the end of 0, maybe someone stitched him together after that. I don't know. But well, actually, on that topic, at the end of this volume, Geto meets this ally, I guess, who's called Mahito in this beach domain, and this person also looked like he was kind of like a Frankenstein's monster, kind of stitched up, or at least I assume those were stitches. I guess they could have been like tattoos or something that looked like stitches, but it looked kind of similar to me as how Geto's forehead looks, but he had them like elsewhere on the body, and I just figured like maybe there's somebody that does this to some people that they like, maybe these guys work for some guy that stitched them up or something like that. I don't know. But just the fact that yeah, I'm looking now at that Mahito guy again, and he or she, I guess, definitely looks to be stitched up as well. So yeah, I'm excited to find out what's up with all of that.
Yeah, definitely. And Mahito, it kind of seems like at least he's the person that the other curses are working with. Like,
Yeah.
maybe a leader, but maybe also just a co-work. I don't know how you say it, accomplice.
Right.
But either way, it seems like he's a person that they report to in a way.
Yeah, because the Jogo, when Jogo was kind of introduced into this volume, it seemed like he was someone who would work with Geto and not necessarily under Geto. At least that's how it seemed to me at first when Jogo was introduced. Because from what I recall about Geto's role in 0 was that he was some kind of curse tamer of sorts.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he still might be to some extent, but at least Gojo didn't seem like a curse that he had tamed. It seemed like a curse who had something to gain from working with Geto, and maybe vice versa as well.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting that we have that moment where he enters the diner or the family restaurant or whatever, and he is seen by the people there, but they don't see the other curses.
Yeah.
But I think that confirms that he's not like some dead being or like a spirit or something like that.
Oh yeah, true.
He is a human that can be seen, or at least, I mean, maybe there's some sort of demonizing thing going on. I'm not entirely sure. But at the very least, he's not a curse like the other ones that normal humans can't see. So
yeah, that's for sure.
Something to interesting. I think you wouldn't really pick that up. I know I didn't pick any on that, or didn't really, because I had no idea who Geto was when I was just watching.
Oh yeah,
the first few episodes of the anime.
True.
So
that's right.
When I saw him in 0, I was like, okay, so we're getting some backstory for this guy. Okay. And then he dies. And I'm like, okay, I'm super confused now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it is in the in the movie adaptation of Zero, but at least in the manga, we don't actually get to see him die. It's just like we just kind of hear the attack that, or the supposed finishing blow that Gojo delivers on him.
I think it's something similar.
Mm-mm. But Geto says that he can't afford to be seen by anyone from Jujutsu High School, and my best explanation to why he doesn't want to be seen by them is because maybe he wants them to think that he's dead, and he benefits from being believed to be dead right now, and that's why I think Gojo. Well, either Gojo did actually kill him, or he like almost killed him and thinks that he did kill him. Like one of those two, and somehow Geto was brought back, either like healed if he didn't die, if he wasn't ever fully dead, he was just healed up, stitched up. But if he actually died more thoroughly, like maybe there was something similar to Yuji's resurrection in this volume.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Interesting.
If there are other beings similar to Sukuna in the world, although I don't know that there is, but I don't know.
Well, could you, in theory, and this is all theories, I have no idea. Could you, in theory, have another Sukuna reside in another person?
Oh, like another finger. Oh, yeah. Dude.
I don't know.
Yes. I think that's totally a possibility. I mean, sure, we know that the possibility of being able to even survive eating a finger is really, 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 really slim. But yeah. Still, I mean, it's possible, I think.
Anything is possible.
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's definitely possible. And I really like that idea because it kind of makes it more complex with kind of this would imply that Sukuna can be in two places at once, and actually act in two places at once. Maybe if he would take control of both bodies, like could he do that at the same time?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. well, would they be two separate identities, or maybe they would have hive mind kind of a thing? I'm not sure, but I think it would also be interesting to see if they're supposed to collect all the fingers. How would they get the finger away from Geto? However, right. I'm not entirely confident in that theory. Just wanted to throw that out there. But it would be interesting if there was some other curse or, something similar to Sukuna.
Right.
That is keeping or kept Geto alive.
Precisely. Yeah, definitely could be something like that. And even if it actually is Sukuna, like Geto has a finger of Sukuna in him, then I think that finger would be vanquished or disappear if Geto would die, right? Or if he would like fully truly die. I think I think wasn't because wasn't that the implication that they want to have Yuji eat all 20 fingers and then they will execute him, and by doing that they will be able to get rid of Sukuna, right?
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I would assume that someone who has just one finger, then if that person would fully die and like not get to Sukuna's domain or anything like that, then that person would die along with that finger being destroyed, I assume.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Although, how do you kill someone who has Sukuna within them truly? Like, what would it take to actually kill Yuji without and not having him be able to come back to life?
I'm not sure. Well, don't be the main character. That's step one.
That is a crucial step. Yeah.
No, I'm not sure. Maybe some sort of domain expansion that.
Oh yeah.
But you'd have to fight with Sukuna's domain, I suppose.
Yeah. Anything else on Geto?
No.
Then let's talk about Megumi Fushiguro next. So, we do get a little bit of a glimpse into his past here. There's a girl called Sumiki who was supposedly a very sweet girl, but she was cursed somehow. At least
Yeah.
that's how I understood it. And I'm guessing what happened, although I think it is a bit unclear, and I think it's supposed to be, but I'm guessing what happened was that Megumi somehow let her die, and that he regrets that a lot, and that's why he didn't want Yuji to die, because he saw the goodness in Yuji, and that he doesn't want, like, he values goodness over, uh, I guess, the danger that a curse comes with.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think that whatever that experience was, it definitely affects his mindset now.
Yeah, definitely.
And we do see, I believe, a panel of him sitting like in a hospital room
Mm.
next to a bed. So around the same time, I believe he's thinking about her. So
Yeah.
it implies something like that.
Right, for sure.
But I'm curious, like who she is. Like, is she a lover, older sibling, a close friend? I'm
Mm,
not entirely sure.
definitely, yeah. And yeah, it would be nice to see that in more detail, I think. Because there, yeah, it's probably something really sad and tragic that's gonna make me cry whenever I see all of it. But I still want to see all of it.
I find this kind of tease similar to Nobata's tease of her backstory too. Like,
Right.
yeah, both these characters that have some sort of depressing or at least something in their past that affected them greatly.
Hmm.
But they're just teased, and that is like a name. Maybe, well, I guess we have a face to go with the name for Megumi's case, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not much to go off of.
No, for sure, for sure. But yeah, they are similar, and on really both are stuff I want to go into at some point. And we mentioned earlier a little bit about how Sukuna seems to maybe, or at least you brought up the idea that Sukuna might be keeping an eye on Megumi in some way, and based on Megumi's speculation, and also I guess my interpretation as well on Sukuna's words there, Sukuna, whether or not he wants to try to recruit Megumi, that hadn't been a thought until you brought it up, but at the very least, Sukuna seemed to
Oh,
think that,
I didn't want to
or
see.
or
I wasn't implying that he
maybe
wants
that
to
wasn't
recruit.
exactly, sorry, maybe that wasn't exactly what you implied, but
I mean,
well,
that'd be cool, I guess.
that could be interesting as well. But at least Sukuna seemed to think that Megumi could have won against that cursed, or against that curse that they fought at the end of previous
Mm.
volume and at the beginning of this one.
Yeah, something that was interesting before Yuji takes over when he dies. He's about, or he being Megumi is about to use a move. It feels like, and he says, starts saying 8 handles, and then he stops because he realizes Yuji is in control again.
Yeah.
So I was just very curious about what that secret move he was about to use, and was that the something that made Sukuna interested, and I guess let his guard down so that Yuji could take over again.
Oh.
Uh,
Hmm.
because why else would Yuji be able to take over unless Sukuna let his guard down?
Yeah.
And why would he let his guard down unless it was something that Megumi did?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. Yeah, I actually I hadn't thought of it that way, but I think that's definitely a strong possibility there. I mean, it's for reasons like this that I think at least it's nice that we know that Sukuna can take control for a minute from time to time, and maybe shed a little bit of light on this at some point, perhaps.
Maybe.
Maybe. Although I think also getting to see Megumi in action some more might also help us understand it a bit, perhaps, potentially, depending on what we see.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I want to see Megumi go all out.
Yeah. Anything else on him?
The only thing fair about life is it's unfair to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very edgy quote, but I think it's a fair statement.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah, no, I like it too.
At the very end of, I guess, his story in this volume, he's thinking about how he's supposed to store his weapon, I guess.
Right.
And then he's also playing around with his shadow. But then he puts his hand within the shadows. So I guess that's something they're teasing there.
Wait, oh, Yeah. Ah. I didn't even really think much about that, but that's an interesting idea. Cause
I,
yeah,
I could be overthinking it.
I mean, huh. Yeah, I mean he's definitely like using shadow powers, and what if he could? Hmm. I know they don't mention it at the time when they're talking about ways to have more weapons with you. They mentioned like taming spirits and having other party members carrying them for you and stuff like that. But um, I I don't know if maybe one possibility, like another alternative, could be perhaps to store them in another domain
Okay.
that you can access. Like imagine if he had like a shadow domain, like befitting for his powers or something. I don't know, and that he can just stick his hand into that domain and grab whatever items that he needs. Maybe. Let's talk a little bit about Nobara Kugisaki next.
She really likes Smash Bros. Wii.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I was so happy when she said that. It was so funny, and the way that's where her mind goes, like the first place it goes when she learns that it's gonna be some kind of competition. uh, but yeah, actually, I don't have anything more about other than that gag for her.
Nope, I don't either.
Then let's talk a bit about Maki Zensin or Zenin. Sorry, I was very positively surprised to find out that she and that crew were introduced this early in the main series. Because I definitely I for some reason hadn't expected that. I thought,
Oh,
well,
really?
I well first of all, I kind of didn't think they would play much of a role in the main series. For those who don't know, by the way,
Oh.
this crew, Maki, Toge, and Panda, were sort of main characters in Jujutsu Kaisen Zero.
Yeah.
So I knew these characters from there, and for some reason, I thought that they would either just be little cameos in the main series,
Mm.
or just be introduced, well, later than Volume Two. Uh, but they were there, and they were actually relatively prominent. At least Maki, I thought, or especially her. And I mean, the other two
Yeah.
were there as well. Definitely more than I had thought initially. So I was very positively surprised by that.
So, can I mention the movie, or do you want me to not do that?
No, I think you can mention the movie.
There is a part with Toge. I keep wanting to call him Onigiri guy, but
Ah,
Toge.
Toge, yeah.
He and Utah kind of have a scene where they're fighting a curse together. So so he does have more to do, but yeah, Panda doesn't have a whole lot to do, um, in Zero. And I agree with you that Maki is probably
Hmm.
more of the focus, of those three
Right.
in that
Yeah. No,
one.
I think yeah. But I think it was similar in the manga actually. Like of
Oh, okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen Zero.
Oh, okay, good.
Both it was mostly like Maki and Toge kind of had little experiences uh, with Yuta, the main character. While
Hmm.
Panda, I don't think he got to have one of those more kind of closer moments with Yuta at all. But anyway, about Maki, something that we learned here was that she has a supposedly a sister called Mai, who goes to the other Jujutsu Kaisen, or not the other Jujutsu school, and she seems to be a little bit not nice.
Yeah, a little
um,
beep.
yeah. But you mentioned Toge Inumaki, the fish guy, or
Hmm.
the fish words guy. He,
Yeah, the rice ball onigiri.
yeah, right. um, I mentioned last time when we talked about Volume One how the original design for Toge in Jujutsu Kaisen Zero in the manga was basically the same design as Yuji has now. For some reason, I thought they only redesigned him for the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie adaptation.
Oh.
That was for some reason my how I had misinterpreted it. I didn't understand that his design, like his redesign, actually made a debut as early as Volume Two of the main series. Um, so yeah, I understand it all now. But it's definitely a very different design now, or not very well. Yeah, it is quite different. I mean, it's clearly different. And I honestly think this redesign fits him better than his original design. Just like it's a better mix, I guess, with his personality and his looks now than it was before.
I still haven't seen the original design, but I like his design.
I mean, just think of Yuji. That's how he looked back then.
Yeah, what's interesting about Tode is I think it's just a fascinating power using the. Well, I guess since we haven't gotten to that point.
Cursed speech.
Okay, well there you go.
Well, I think they mentioned it. Like that's well, we haven't seen it in action in the main series yet, but I think they mentioned that was the name of it when he was introduced here in this book. But I mean, yeah, I've read Zero, so I have seen his cursed speech in action.
It's a fascinating power. It would be such a pain to do, like only picking certain things. And whenever they release a new onigiri flavor, he's just like, "Oh my gosh, my new favorite word."
Yeah.
He's just waiting in front of 7-Eleven just to see what the new rice ball flavor is. Like, let's go.
Exactly. But hey, he doesn't seem to be that bothered by it, at least.
I mean, you gotta live with it if you're gonna be committed to it.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically mute in terms of like how as far as actual communication goes. He's basically mute. He should learn sign language.
Yeah.
Like I would if I was in his shoes.
At that point.
Yeah. Anyway, we also get to meet Panda. What a huggable guy.
He's just a panda.
Yeah, he's just a panda. I love that.
I will admit, when I first saw him in the anime, I just thought it was very, I don't know, it felt out of place. Like, it just seemed strange that there was this walking, talking panda. Yes, we're doing curses, but instead of like a unique looking kind of creature, it's just a panda.
It's just,
you know, there's really nothing special about it.
Yeah.
And so I remember, just like, I don't know how I feel about this. But Panda definitely grew on me over time. Yeah,
he's chill. They also mention Yuta Okotsu, the protagonist of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Pretty much just a name drop. Although we also got to see him in one panel when Gojo mentioned him along with a third year called Hakari,
right,
as being basically his two greatest students. So this just has me so excited to meet Yuta again.
I know.
After knowing that he's like one of the best students, and yeah, just interesting, I think, to bring in a former protagonist into a story where he's not supposed to be a protagonist, but still probably an important character. So yeah, I'm just really happy, like, because again, I for some reason didn't expect Zero to really tie in with the main series as much as it's doing. So I'm just loving it. I'm very happy about all of this.
Yeah, so you mentioned both those guys. First off, I like to point out that Panda mentions that Maki is nicer with Utah around. So
yes. I mean that was also, I mean, for anyone who's never seen Zero, yeah, that's also something that you would pick up on.
Oh yeah, totally. When I watched the movie, it's like I was like turned to the person that I had no idea who they was. I shipped them so hard. Please leave me alone. No, I didn't actually do that.
You should have.
But it's true. Like I thought they were had a wonderful relationship going on, and we'd love to see more of that.
Absolutely.
So if Jujutsu Kaisen could give me that in future volumes, I would be super happy.
Please do. Yeah. I'm all with you there.
But Hakari is the third year student, and he's suspended. And I wonder, what exactly was he suspended for? Was he like a bad boy, edgy type of thing?
Yeah.
Or is he actually a cool guy? Just, maybe he went against the higher ups or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, at best, he's just a troublemaker. At worst, he's like turning into a villain or something. I don't know.
Oh my!
Like, and there could be anything in between there. But I mean, I have no clue. I don't know anything more about this character.
I mean, Gojo doesn't seem like that he dislikes the kid at the very least. Like
that's actually
he considers him still one of his students.
Yeah, and in fact, like one of his students with the greatest promise to be this next generation that he wants to train. So actually, with that in mind, he's probably not like villain material. Well, I don't think so anyway. But he might still be a bit of a troublemaker, which honestly,
Yeah.
knowing Gojo, he doesn't probably really mind that.
No. He's
Like,
like, I see myself in him.
exactly. It's like when, sorry, this is not on the characters we're talking about right now, but Gojo, when he told Yuji not to drink while watching movies, and Yuji was like, but movies are all about soda and snacks, and Gojo's like, yeah, you're right, or like something. I love that part.
I cannot deny that.
Yeah.
Speaking facts. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Hakari, I don't. Yeah, a troublemaker, I think, is probably what he is. But
Fair.
unless he isn't even a troublemaker, maybe because the higher ups at Jujutsu High seem to be idiots.
Right.
So maybe they just suspended him for no good reason.
Yeah, maybe a reason that Gojo disagrees with.
Right, exactly. I could see that as well. Man, yeah. Oh, there's so much being set up, and can't wait for it all to, well, get payoffs or just get a little further on these things. But we also got to meet Shoko Ieri, the Jujutsu High doctor, only briefly, but Ijichi seems to really fancy her.
It was just interesting that she was interested in dissecting the vessel of Sukuna, and I wonder what kind of information she was trying to get out of that. But I don't really have anything about her character, to be honest.
Right. Actually, one thing that I just remembered, because she gets a brief little character bio between two of the chapters in the physical book, and it says, well, one of the things that it says that I thought was the most interesting was that she's one of a few people who can heal by using reverse cursed technique. So she's incredibly valuable. So that's like supposedly a really rare ability for humans to have. I think it's established that a lot of demons, or not demons, a lot of curses can do that. But as far as humans go, it's very, very, very rare. But she is one of the few who can't do that. So, I mean, makes sense that she's a doctor then. But yeah, that's cool. It also says that after high school, she obtained her doctor's license in 2 years by cheating.
What?
Yep.
Am I supposed to be impressed by that, or
you decide?
Okay. Is it cheating just because she was lazy? Like, I don't want to do all this stuff. I know what I'm doing already. Or I don't like. Is this woman not qualified to be a doctor? I don't think this woman has ever been to medical school.
Good question. Yeah, I mean, she has a bit of a. I mean, I guess could you call her ability cheating? Like, would that be considered cheating by some people? Her ability, since nobody else, or pretty much nobody else has it. This reverse curse technique. I don't know.
Like, how do you get through medical school? And you heal somebody. It's like, whoa, what did you do? Like, I just, the stitches worked. Like, I don't know. Like, it seems like the cheating would have to come like on tests or
yeah,
like papers you have to write or something. I don't know. That's an interesting fact. Did not expect to talk about her this much. But there you go.
Yeah, it was some interesting little tidbits there in the bio. But any other characters you want to talk about?
Yes. So just very briefly, Aoi Toro. He likes tall girls with big butts.
He does.
And he cannot lie.
I don't think he can lie. But you know what? I thought that was such a funny, quote unquote, cliffhanger to the volume. The fact that they ended the volume with that, with him just saying that, and then it's like, to be continued. It was the funniest way to end the book, honestly. And like, cause he makes it like look so serious and everything, but that's all it really is, and then it's to be continued. Like, comparing this to the cliffhanger of the first book is like a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was fun. He was fun. He didn't seem like as much of a unpleasant person as or I guess he's unpleasant in different ways. I don't know. No, but he seemed to be a good guy ultimately.
Yeah. At the very least, he, wants a good fight, it seems.
True.
Like, he rips off his shirt and it's like, we're gonna have a fight or something like. And he was kind of upset that the other two upperclassmen, Yuta and Hakari, weren't available.
Yeah.
So I think that was disappointing for him. I have some strong feelings about Toro, but I will save that for future readings, for future
Okay.
discussions.
Interesting. Okay. Now I'm curious. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see or to find out. Lovely. Then moving into the final stretch of the discussion, which I think will mostly include me theorizing about potential prediction things. Well, what we know for sure, or at least what we know at least is the intended plan right now, is that Yuji will watch more movies and that he will train by fighting Gojo. That's what Gojo has mentioned, and after that, I'm assuming after having done that for a little while, I think he's going to be able to rejoin his classmates and train together with them again for a bit. And I think that's when they will do like the field work that Gojo mentioned. And I think I don't know. I think it makes more sense for Yuta. No, not for Yuta. For Yuji to do that part of his training with his classmates and not to do that alone. So that's why I think he will rejoin them before going to do the field work.
Gotcha.
And then I think after that we'll start they'll start the Kyoto Sister School Goodwill event.
Cool.
Though I don't know how much of that, like how far the next volume will go time wise. I think we're about a month and a half away from the event. So, I mean, either there's a little time skip that brings us to the event relatively quickly, or we won't get to that event until like volume 4. I don't know. So I could see that going either way. But as far as like things that need to happen between now and then, there will be some training, I think. But I am looking forward to the event. It seems like that's going to be a fun point of the story, probably, or at least that's my expectations, at least.
Yeah, definitely setting it up to be something cool.
Very. Then another little speculation, I guess, that I got is about the principle of Kyoto Jujutsu High.
Okay.
I think we get to see him briefly on like a panel when they mention him, I think, and they also mention him. The second graders talk about him a little bit, and based on their conversation, it seems like he's one of the higher ups at Jujutsu High, and so he seems to be one of the ones who wants Yuji executed as early as possible, and so like. I'm a bit wary or a bit worried. I think I'm going to expect him and, I mean, probably some other higher-ups as well to become a bit of a bigger problem in the future. So that's, I guess, my speculation about him.
Gotcha.
I mean, I have never really met him yet, but he seems to be someone who can pose a bit of a threat.
Yeah, kind of overlooming figure.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I think, all of the stuff that I had for speculations.
Cool. Do I have any questions? Yeah. Do you think that these curses, like this group of curses that can talk, are they going to try to like what do you think their next move could potentially be?
Well, having seen some other shonen stuff. Part of me wonders if they will attack during the event, because that seems to always happen in shonen stuff.
Yeah, it really does.
Like whether it's the Chunin exams or if it's like the events in My Hero Academia, like there's always villains attacking the school whenever there's like a big event going on.
That's true.
So I mean, yeah, I could probably see that. Although again, as we said, there's about a month and a half until then, so I guess it's possible they could interfere or do something before then too. How they would go about it, though, it's hard to say. I mean, they at least have these kind of objectives, like they want to imprison Gojo and they want to turn Yuji and Sukuna over to their side. I have a hard time seeing they'll succeed at either of this at the very least anytime soon. So yeah, whatever happens in the next book by them is probably not going to be too successful.
Okay, cool. That's all the questions I have.
Great. Then I think that's most of what we had for the second volume discussion of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sweet.
Again, promoting our Discord server, where, it's an open Discord server, link in the video description if you're listening to this on YouTube. We got a lot of fun manga, anime, and anything else discussions happening in there with a lot of great people. And if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by either rating our show on the podcast platforms or subscribing to our channel, Umami Manga, on YouTube. If you like this episode, please share it with anyone you think might enjoy it too. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 3. Bye-bye!
See you later! For example, my brother, he got the shots and never had any sort of, like, his arm hurt or something, I guess. That's a normal side effect, but he never got any of those fever-like chills and aches.
Yeah, it is interesting how it affects people so differently. I also never felt sick from either of my shots.
Man, I feel gypped. Life's unfair. The only fair thing about life is that it's unfair for everyone.